Hey everyone, okay, so today I thought we would do a complete guide to eyeshadow brushes. Now, the lovely Hindish, as I was getting ready to film this video, the lovely Hindish had already published an incredible video on eyeshadow brushes, so you should definitely check that out. But we are still going to be doing a video on eyeshadow brushes, but we're going to be focusing on which brushes are specifically for your eye shape and your eye size. So with that in mind, let's make a start. So when it comes to eyeshadow brushes and which brush is the right brush for you, what really matters the most is how big your eye is and to a certain extent what your eye shape is, but that really isn't that important. It's how much space you have with your eye. And what I mean by that is if you look at your eyelid directly in the mirror, how much space is there from eyelid to brow bone? And that will dictate the size of the brush that you need. Now, there are lots of different eye brushes available, but I tend to work with all forms of crease brushes because they are easier to use. They can go anywhere on the eyelid, the same as a flat brush can, but they don't leave the hard edges. So what I'm going to do is use my eye as a guide to give you an indication of which brushes would be most appropriate for me, and then you can work outwards or inwards depending on the size of your eye. So first of all, we're going to be looking at brushes 19 and 20, and these are both crease brushes, but they are small crease brushes. So if we start with 20, which is the smallest, if you look, if I do a crease work with this, you can see that it's going to give me a very precise line. So if I want the crease work to be incredibly defined or strong, or just want accurate placement, this will be the brush that I would go to. Because of the size of it, I'm able to do brow bone work and highlight the lid and the inner corner with this same brush. So it works really well for me and my eye shape. Next would be 19, which is a slightly longer and slightly fatter bristle. And again, this will give me a nice definition to the crease, but because the brush is slightly bigger, it will be a slightly larger and more diffused outline. And again, this brush can go all over lid to create color and of course, brow bone. Now, when you move on to a slightly larger brushes, so this would be brush 17. Now, this is a brush that works great for my eye shape if I want a more diffused color, like a mid-tone color, you know, there's something that you transition to, or if I want it to be, you know, really loose and flowy. And because of the size of this brush, I'm able to go from crease or outside corner all the way in to the inner corner. So you can contour an eye with this brush really, really well. It's not that you can't contour with the smaller ones, because you still can. It just requires more strokes. So it depends on your eye shape, but this is generally the maximum size that I would go to on my eye shape with this brush. Now moving up, you then have brush number 16. Now 16 is the largest brush in my collection, and you can see that this is a big brush. So if I'm going to use this with any form of color, it's going to deposit a lot of color on my eye, and it's going to go in a very large pattern. So you need to bear that in mind. If your eyes are bigger than mine, then brushes probably, I would say 17 and 16 are your best bet if your eyes are bigger than mine. But you can see, but if I was to use this in a contouring product that's only a few shades lighter, darker than my skin tone, I could go right the way in and contour this eye beautifully with this brush. So you're really trying to focus on what your eye shape is, as in the amount of space you have, and you're working from there. That's the easiest way around. Now, when it comes to blending brushes, all of these brushes will blend. So you can apply them with one and blend with another. The problem is you should never blend with the same brush you applied color with, because there's already color on it and it muddies the water. Even if you try and take it off with a tissue, it's still better to always have a clean brush. Now, brush number 18 is a flat paddle brush, and it is an incredible brush, and it can be used for all over eyeshadow work because of the way the brush is situated. If you use it at an angle, you can get defined work, lid work, brow work, or if you turn it on its side, it's a much larger bristle brush. But this brush is great for blending. Any color you've put on, you can just circle it and blend it out or up however you want, but you do need a clean brush. But all of these brushes, the crease brushes, will blend. If it's a clean brush, you can blend anything you want, regardless of the size of brush that you pick. It will all blend, and it will blend beautifully. Now, when it comes to pencil brushes, because generally speaking, there are only two brushes I tend to use for eyes, which is a crease brush and a pencil brush. Now, there are two different sizes of pencil brushes. Both will work adequately. If your eye shape is larger, you'll probably go for a larger brush, and likewise smaller. Now, the good thing with a pencil brush is it allows you to go underneath the eye gently, and it also allows you to extend out first. And extending out first means you can connect. And that makes life much easier, starting on the lower lid, bringing it out and connecting it in. These brushes also work well for highlight work. You can apply them all over the lid or just a partial for different effects. Great for micro highlighting of the eyebrow as well. Also, they're great if you want a really defined crease. You can draw it in with a deeper color as low as you want. They're perfect for that, which is why I keep things very simple with myself. Two brushes, one for the lid, one for under eye, crease and pencil. And next, there are two other brushes, and these are really small brushes. One is a soft paddle, and the next is a push liner. Now, you saw the video on the push liner, which I just recently did last week. And this is great for pushing into the lash bed to get black eyeshadow into the lash bed to make your eyes stand out. But also, this brush is great for micro adding in hairs with powder into the eyebrow. It is perfect for that. Now, when you're talking about the small paddle brush, you can use this on the lid. Don't worry that it's small. It's designed to be small so that you can get right in. You can get in a very sharp angle on the inner tear duct area, which of course you want in that area. Microfine right here. This is also your lip brush. It applies lip color perfectly into the inner corners, the outer corners, because it's so fine, and it's a hard bristle as well. Even though it's a soft brush, it is quite a firm bristle, and that helps. Now, just because these brushes are designed for the face, for the eye, does not mean that they can't be used on the face, because they can. What you want to do is think to yourself, well, what brush would be most suitable for the face? Generally speaking, 16, the larger brush. Highlight, really extreme highlight, or really hard placement of highlight, wherever you want the highlight. Now, if you want a really precise highlight down the nose, then go for the smaller brush. You can go straight down the nose. You shouldn't look at the brushes and think these are just for eyes, because they're not. Also, these brushes are great. Dip them into a little bit of loose powder. See where your highlighter is and your blusher is. Buff around the edges. It gets rid of any hard line. Also, dip this into a bronzer or a contouring powder and go very gently into the hairline to bleed things up. Same if you're very, very pale. You can use a blusher on this brush and just very lightly work it into the hairline, because that would be a more realistic effect for you. If you've been out in the sun, your skin isn't going to tan, it's going to burn slightly, and adding that halo looks really, really pretty. And again, because these brushes are natural brushes, you can also use them for things like concealer. You can use this underneath the eye to buff out concealer, liquids, all of that kind of medium. You can dip this into a cream blusher and apply it exactly where you want it on the face. So don't think that because these are designed for the eye doesn't mean you can't use them elsewhere. You can. But generally speaking, try and respect your eye size. So again, to reiterate, I would be using the two smaller ones for me. So this gives me a precise crease wherever I want it, precise color. Then I would take a larger brush and I would blend that out. And then I would go in with a small brush for underneath the eye, around the tear duct, anywhere that I choose. And that's it. One brush to apply color, upper eye, under eye, and one brush to blend. It really is as simple as that. It shouldn't be more complicated. You just need one for the upper, one for the lower, one to blend, and a push liner brush to go into the lashes. That is it. That is your brush needs taken care of. You can do every single eye with this. You know, the smallest brush, you want to cut crease, this is the brush to use. You want a really defined cut crease, then use the smallest pencil brush to go in afterwards with the deeper color. You don't need a menagerie of thousands of different brushes when 3 will do the job for you perfectly. Absolutely. Just going to say it one more time. Pencil for underneath the eye. Crease that fits your eye for the lid and the crease work. One brush to blend and a push liner brush. That is it. That is your complete needs. And if you want, you can get a flat paddle brush that you can do your lips with, you can do your eye with, all of that stuff. There you go. Perfection personified. Thanks for watching. Hope you're all not going stir crazy as I am in lockdown. I can see the world outside, but apparently I can't go out in it. And I understand why, but it's not been easy. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.